So since we are able to achieve to this particular extent that we can actually render content on our templates by making use of this render guy. So yeah, sorry, this render guy, because there are basically two ways to render information. There are multiple ways, but I think HTTP response and render we're going to make mainly use of this guy. So just want to create access to add more templates to our template folder. So in this of our blog page, let me just add like I say new file. Let's add maybe about, so I can say our about or what HTML. So for about, we're going to talk about what this page does, because now remember that this is what we're actually trying to build. So when I click on this about, at least we're expected to get something like this, to talk something about our website. So let me go back. So the first thing we are going to do, since we have actually created the about.html, so I'm going to say HTML. I'm going to put this HTML file. Django VS Code is going to help me to complete some of these guys. So I'm going to say what about. Remember that this title is actually what got displayed on top of it. You can see this was home page, and this was what we actually on our own. So later we'll go to about. So we're expected to see about on top of it. So let me go back about. So let me just create a maybe a dummy data, so I can say our, let me just put a used one that I can say this is my about page. Okay, so remember that this content now right here, when I go to our web page and then reload it, I can't see anything like this is my about page. Even though I was able to go to about, let's say I went to URL about, you can see that I'm getting a 404 error page not found. So to do this, we have to actually map our URL to enter. We'll go to maybe to set our URL, enter, we'll go to about. We can able to get the information, we can able to run a particular function that get this output. So let me just write semicolon. Okay, let me just copy this for starting, so I don't have to type everything from beginning again. So this is what about, this is function that is going to be run. Enter, we'll go to slash about. So here is going to be about, since we have a HTML file about. So I'm not going to move any content to it. Let me just remove this also. So I just want to, let me just go run the HTML about.html file. So I also need to actually go to our okay, let me go to our URL. This is our URL. So I'm also going to copy this. I don't need to start from me to complete it again. So this is going to be what about. So if you're still getting confused of what we're trying to do, everything I talked about it in previous video. So here is also going to be about. So I've talked about all these guys in previous video and in initial beginning of this video. So if you're interested, make sure to start from beginning, or you can check my previous video when I talked about this, how this URL and pattern matching actually works. So here is going to be about, but let's look at what is actually happening. Enter, I go to slash about. This ending slash, this is how Django actually expect us to actually put this. And then this views dot about is the function that we're going to get run anytime. So remember that when we go to this slash about, this is where we are trying to go to slash about. So something has to be actually displayed on the screen, which is going to run this function that we have here. And this function that gets run, this is that views dot about, and then this name will set about page. In a situation whereby when this can be really useful, this in a situation whereby our URL pattern actually changed, maybe we changed it with particular reasons, and then now if we don't set the name, because most times we'll be using the name to actually reference to this or the about the URL pattern. Let's say in near future it turns to something, maybe a kind of a jabberish thing. Since we still have this about, also making use of this name about page, we don't need to actually come to specify this URL and longer. This about page is going to handle any changes in our URL. So let's go to our website. Let me reload it again. Okay, what's going on? I think that there's no problem. Let me run it again. Okay, this is my about page. So the next thing we're basically going to actually do, because there's not really much information here. So I also want us to look at something. Let's say in this of our website that we're trying to create, which is this. When I go to home, for example, and then I get this I say this from this DSA tutorial machine learning and data science web development practice, and this easy kids blog website, and these buttons that appear. Even though I was go to login, they still appear again. If I go to register, they still appear. But if I go to about, they don't appear. So how is this possible that even though I was able to navigate to a particular link, these guys is still able to stay on top of here, and because they are specified it to be on. And we are going to introduce ourselves to what's actually called Django blog tags. This can be really, these blog tags can be really useful. Let's say in this my situation, we can see that no matter even I go to this login page, these guys tend to appear. This can be useful in case if you want a particular section of your content to actually appear all the time. Maybe somewhere go to a particular link, it doesn't change. This can be really useful. So to achieve this, remember I said that this is a Django and blog tag structure. So to do this, you have to actually create a particular HTML file, which you can call a base.html. Can try to give it any name. This file is going to be the main guide that is going to hold all this structured in place. Once they hold this structure, the next thing you are going to do is actually to extend it to other templates. Then you can make use of some of the things that it provides. Some of the things that it provided. Once you extend it, you can then use it in other templates. So let's do example so we can understand what we are doing. So I'm going to put a new file. We can call it our base.html. You can start to give it any name of your choice, not a must be base.html. So I'm going to say our HTML5. Then just set it title to be all pages title. So title was actually called a template tag. So we can do this our additional percentage with a percentage sign. So here we can see our what block head, and here we can also end block. Simple. Make sure to put your percentage sign so at the front at the back, so you get it messed up. So with this anywhere we extend this of our base .html, all this information that is on top of here will definitely appear on that of the okay, let me also do for that of the body also, so we can actually let me just leave it on here. Okay, let me also do body, so we can actually see an example of it. Here is going to be block body. Simple as that. Let me just make a simple tag and call it let me say h1 tag. I can call it all info, all pages, all pages info. So to actually make use of it in other template, let's say I also want to make use of it in this of our home.html. How I'm going to do it is actually have to, before this dog type HTML, I need to actually extend it for it to actually on top of this place so that I can make use of it. We won't come down here to actually import it. The extending is more like trying to import that of the base.html functionality over to a new our template as going to leading percentage. So we're going to say what extend. We're going to extend what our blog, which is our app. We're going to be our blog page slash base.html. Simple as. So what have I done? I'm going to extend what are extending our blog page, which is our app, and then base.html. Because the way Django tends to do this, we're not going to specify this template. We're going to specify the app and that of the particular HTML file that I want to actually extend. So if you want to make use of some of the functionality that in this I want to make use of this functionality of the under this of our blog page, which is your slash base.html, which is this base.html file. So the way this work is that since we have actually specified this block head and this of the block body, make sure to end this of the end block. How this work is that anything you are going to write is going to be inside of this place. So you can start to bring it down. So any of your code, you need to also specify this block head again, any part of your other HTML file, this of our about, this of our home.html, anywhere, and then make sure that it should be inside of this block head. And the advantage that this actually tend to do is that you don't need to type this entire doc type HTML language, and you don't need to type it any longer. This body, you don't need to type it any longer. Once your script is inside of this blog head or this blog body, is going to do all these guys automatically. It's going to actually generate, it's going to get from this of the base.html, and they're going to make it. Let me just let's just see example. Let's say in my scenario I can remove this of this entire HTML code that is here. So what I'm just going to do is actually to put our blog template tag. So I'm going to say our what going to be it's going to be block head. After the block head, here I'm going to say end block. Signify that I want to end this of this is where the head the particular heading actually starts. So I can say this, I can come here and say what end block. Here I can put any of my I can say any other tag that I want to put in. So let's say I want to specify the titles. Here I'm going to specify the title. But if you put the title here, it's not going to take any effect again, because this is going to inherit from this default title that you set. The only way for you to actually do this is actually to get rid of this title. But let's see example. And then for this of the block body that we have here, so let me just remove this. I'm going to move this body. See, I'm going to say what going to be block body, and here is going to be end block. So this block body, all the other structure that is required is going to be provided. That this of the body is going to be really the way it's expected. So how this actually works is that when you look at this, you can see that this tend to reduce the amount of code that right. Don't need to actually type this doc type HTML and a whole lot of other HTML structure. You can see that the base is already being on this of our base.html, and then I will also extend the functionality to over this of the half. Then I'm going to go to home. I'm going to reload it since template syntax error. The error occurred at line 2. Okay, so where did our occur on? Okay, we can see that this supposed to be a hyphen here. So let's go back, reload it again. Okay, so the mistake we did was actually give space here. There's not supposed to be space here, like how we specify this our base.html. So let's go back, reload our page. Consider this all page info thing to appear, even though I was to do similar thing to this of the about. Okay, let's do it for this about.html. Let me also copy this. We don't need to actually start from fresh. This of about.html. So then I'll put this. I extended this out page.html. So in this of the body, I say let me actually add for that of the head. So I'm going to come to this about.html. Let me just comment all these guys out, bring these guys, and I'll put this for the blockage. So it's going to inherit everything that actually appears, because when we go to our home.html, you can see that all page title tend to appear there. So because when we do the same thing for that of the about.html, all page title is also going to appear on it. So we'll also do for that of the, let me comment this. Let me just take this blog body. Out of the end block too. So let's go back and reload let's go to our about. You can see that this all page, we can actually extend our functionality from that of base.html to other files that are other our HTML files. How we can make use of this blog head. So we can how we can make use of this blog head and this of our base.html. We can actually extend words on top of it over to other um, um, templates. So I also want us to actually learn how to add, maybe to create some buttons. To actually create buttons is actually basically simple. Do what I'm going to do, because James just do an example here. So it's going to, because we're making in this our website that we're trying to create, they're basically two type of button, a drop down menu button and then a kind of a clickable button that you click it to go to refer to a particular link. It says both of them, they still do similar thing, but to achieve this, we can just say button to create button, simple as that. I can give it a test. Let's say example button. So button, simple as that. Let me go back. Remember that one, this is our home.html, so we're going to go back and let's go to our home. So this will be a small letter. Consider our example, but when we click on it, we actually what we're actually doing is to make a get request, as you can see down here. But if you're not saying you understand it, let's just not go much into that as of now. What I actually did in example, you can see how we're able to create a button. Right now it's not looking like this type of button that we're expecting. We're going to make use of Bootstrap to actually to style our page, because our page is actually looking ugly right now. Because remember that we have actually learned how to move information from one particular, from extending our information from that of the base to other page. Because if I was to go to about, like how we saw earlier, I can see that this information is keep on still showing like this about all pages info. Also go to home, is showing all pages info, and the title is remain the same. The reason is because it's inherited from this of the base.html, which is all pages title, and there is all pages info. Since we extended it, we can actually make it. So let's say in a situation whereby I want the titles to be separate, I don't want it to be actually the same thing throughout all your entire screen. What you can do is actually to the best. There are still many ways, correct? You can create a condition that actually check if there's a title. If the title is going to use the current title, there's not, but that can be really sure. So the best is to actually remove the title itself. So in each of the page you are currently working on, let's say in this of our so in this of the template I work, like in this of our about template, I can just take this title. So inside of it, just edit it properly. Instead of it, we can just put it inside of it. So instead of our about, let me reload the page. You can see about is not the title that we currently have. So this is one of the simplest way to do this. You can say write a condition to actually check it, and if there is title, you can make it that title. If there's not, but that is actually to your own, in case if you're interested. But I think this doing it like this is one of the easier way. You can also do the same thing for our home.html. Also, let me just copy this. So let's say I also want to actually add title. So we can say home page. Simple as that. For to go to your home page and then reload it, the title is going to change to that of the home page. So we also learn how to actually add and create button, like how we did here, just by saying button, example button. So before we can make use of bootstrap function, bootstrap dependencies, you need to actually add some of the CDN, or can say content delivery network links that Bootstrap required you to actually have available, and then with that you can actually connect to that service and make use of some of their functionality, like that of the CSS styling and for that of the JavaScript. So I'm going to head over to our Bootstrap website, then we can actually see how we can actually do this. Well, before that, I'm going to paste I'm going to paste it on this of our base.html, because this I want to paste it .html, because since we can we're trying to extend to most of our most of our HTML files in the future, so I want it to be saved here, so I don't need to actually be pasting it in each of the before this block header and below. So let me just paste it, so you can see that meta character UTF, this kind of encoding name viewport. You can see that when we come here, this is a link. This is actually a CSS styling CDN that we actually connect, and these are for JavaScript, these two other together. But let's actually go to the Bootstrap website so we can actually understand it more. So let me go to here. Let me search for Bootstrap. Let me connect to the internet. So I'm going to type our Bootstrap. Comment and enter. I can see that I'm going to go to this on the first website, this first link that appears here. And so this is actually Bootstrap 5.3, but what actually isn't in Bootstrap 4. I'm going to make use of Bootstrap 4. That's why I provided this link. The link do change at times. So if we can go to their website, we can see a different link, but it's going to be a little bit similar. This is include via CDN, which is content delivering network. So before you can make use of it, you can actually you're expected to copy this and then go to your maybe any file and paste it. So in my situation, in my case, okay, let me just paste it. In my case, already have which was the GSS deliver Bootstrap 5.0, and this is actually 5.3. It actually when I did this was 5.0, and then you can also copy the second one. When you copy this is for the first one is for CSS. I can see this link ref, and the second one is for that of JavaScript. I can see when you only need to include Bootstrap compile CSS or JavaScript, you can use the GS delivery. See in nation with a quick simple quick start. So we can see that how to make use of just CSS and JavaScript, just how to paste this link, just simple as that. So all the time you don't need to actually start typing. You don't need to actually use CSS to actually style it. Bootstrap already tend to provide it for you. So let's say we want to actually in this since I actually added it, and then since we extended our base.html, let's actually do example. Like I can see here, we did created an example, but let's actually say we want to create a drop down menu. You can go to our Bootstraps, and then we can go down the whole lot of them. You can search for buttons here. If you're interested in searching for buttons, let's say you want to get a drop down button, you can come here and search for what? Like say drop down button. But I think the way I saw, okay, I saw an example. I want to create a drop down button, which was this. No, that wasn't it. I can see this. You want to create this type of drop down. When you click on this drop item, what I have to do just to copy it. With help of these classes that Bootstrap tend to appear, tend to give us button, primary, drop down, toggle, and then what you have to do just to copy it and go to your script. You need to just paste it here. So with this shouldn't give us any problem. So let's go to our home page, and then let's reload it. Click and then get information for in case if you are actually interested in letting it be in like in this format. There's a Bootstrap functionality that actually does. All you have to do is come here and search for drop down. So remember that all the script we are going to use in this video is going to be on my GitHub, and the link is actually will be in the description down below in case if you're interested. So like you can see how simple it was to actually create this entire drop down menu, or can say a drop down button here. So just copy it and then paste it. And actually, if you are not interested in looking for, maybe you are looking for many drop down, what you have to do is actually to duplicate your code. Let's say you want more, you can duplicate and then turn into a list and then make it to align a straight line. So I mean in vertical line. So you can do that, and then you are definitely going to get what we actually did. All you have to do is just to change the name. Remember that any information that you put here is actually a drop down item, so you can actually make it to be a link that somebody can actually click on it. When somebody clicks on it, it can redirect that person to a particular page or a particular section of your website, or maybe different section of your website. So you can see how this was simple to implement, even the styling, just by just copying some of the Bootstrap script that has already been provided for it. A whole lot of them. You can just go to this drop down. Okay, the whole lot of drop down example. Okay, because in case you are interested in something like this, can just have to copy it, and then in your script you just have to paste it, and then let's load our home.html. You can see that we get this drop down link. You can actually change the name. Where is that? This was the drop down link. It was the name. This was the name that was given. So you can actually change it something like DSE. Okay, let's reload it again. You can see the name actually changed to what we are like what something that we have here. You can see how simple this was actually to do. Instead of you starting from scratch to actually start writing CSS styling to actually style these guys and some other functionality that of JavaScript functionality to actually make it to be a kind of a drop down menu. So you can see how simple bootstrapping to make things easier for us. You can then copy it and then tweak it a little bit, and then like I said, you can make it a vertical. You just have to, let's say you want it, I've gotten one already, which was this guy that we have here. I think this was this. Yep, I think this was it. So I think this was it. I can't remember. This drop down something. Okay, yeah, I started from here. I can just duplicate it, and that's basically what we are going to do, to duplicate it and then make it to be in vertical, so it will tend to appear this format. So I'm going to pause this of our video. Remember that you can see one of the advantage of this base builds. You can see one of the advantage of this extending of maybe a particular HTML file to other parts. You can see that I don't need to actually paste all this in maybe in home.html or in about.html or in our future HTML file. So since we have actually extended it to our home.html, it's easier for us to actually make use of them. So anytime what we have to do is actually to make sure that we extended our base.html, and then we added this blockade for that of the block body. Then we can put all our information. What is actually happening here is any other information that appears on top will definitely be on top anywhere we make use of them. So I'm going to pause this video. This is my base.html. I'm going to duplicate what we actually have here, because this was similar thing that we have that we're trying to do. This was similar thing, so I'll be able to achieve similar types. So what I have to do, I'm just going to duplicate it, and then after that I'm going to continue this video so we can actually see how this was actually it. So what I just did was actually just to duplicate each of them, and then I put a break line. What I did was so it won't be merged on top, so it will give a little bit of space there. So this was this first one that we did, which is a div class drop down DSA. The second one was actually, third one was this machine learning and data science web development. So you can see like how we're expecting to actually get something like that. You can see that the break line wasn't up here, but let's actually, since we have actually added it to our script, which is our base.html, this is what we actually copy. Remember that I'll be providing all this in my Git. All this will be available in my GitHub. So if you're interested, in case you are really interested, I'm going to provide the link so you can go there and just copy it if you're interested also. So let's actually reload our page to see whether this took effect. So you can see this all page info was actually what we from our base.html that this was the first test, so we can get rid of it. We are not using it for anything, so let me reload it. So you can see that this is looking like what we have here. So what is the mean to make use of classes to actually style the to style maybe a button or maybe an entry of your choice, like what we can see here, class drop down. this drop down is when I want to create a drop down. I give it a class BTN, BTN secondary drop down. So let's say let's do an example first. Let's make a short example. Let me get rid of this. This is Bootstrap is that in default HTML, if you want to create a button, you need to actually specify that you want to create a button. But when it comes to this of Bootstrap, by making use of some of the classes, you can actually create a button out of a link or out of anything of which. Let's say I want to create a link. Let's say I gave it a name. Just like go back. Let's go back and then let's go to our home.html, which is home.html, and then I load it. You can see get this go back link here. Then let's try to style it a little bit. Let's go to our Bootstrap. We can see that I search for this button and then I got this. You can see that we can actually we make use of a class which can make use of a whole lot of them. Let's say I just want to use this BTN primary disabled. How to make use of it. I don't really think I really need the other ones, the other information. So that to do is just to come here and create a class, and then I give it that name BTN primary disabled. But let's go back and reload our website. You can see that now it has given it the styling. Like for example, let's go back to our about. You can see we have that kind of similar styling format. So you can see that with this, with some of the buttons and some of the styling, you can see that Bootstrap tends to make things a little bit easier, a little bit better, a little bit modern for us to actually make use of some of all these functionality just for free, or just consider out of the box. You can see this normal button, but just with a little bit of adding of a little bit of class to it, and then it could change to something a little bit more beautiful. So this, remember that this is actually disabled, so we don't really. So let me try moving this disabled because I can't click on it. Let me reload it again. You can see right now I can click on it. So you can just play around with some of all these Bootstrap classes. They are quite easy to understand. So I think with this I've actually covered a whole lot of things. I actually covered the whole. I can add more information on this of our about.html because that's one of the easiest parts of this of our Django tutorial. We can go to this of about, not doing really much, and then go back button. As of now, we have actually learned most of the things that we're going to do, how to create a go back button, and then how to. I don't think I need to teach most of us how to some HTML syntax on how to make use of them and how to position your button where you want it, because you can actually position it anywhere you want. You can see this is where I positioned it. So, and also just a test, and also I don't know why these links are not actually popping. I think I have to be connected to the internet for them to actually let me do that quickly. So I need to be connected to the internet, so these icons are going to pop up. How to add icons, you can actually learn that in the basis of HTML structuring, or maybe tags, a whole lot of the making a lot of IMG tag with a lot of SRC. You can give it a direct path, I can give it maybe I can say maybe it can get a maybe particular icon from a particular website, but that's not basically what I'm going to do. So I already have it already prepared, so I'm just going to paste the. Okay, so I just pasted this. So this is what we have. You already touched that of the body part. I didn't actually I don't need this extend block page, because if we look at what we're trying to build similar thing, it doesn't have that guy on top of it. So next we're going to get rid of it, but let's understand what is actually happening here. I just gave it a class container, like what we did, the go back button doesn't go anywhere as of now. We know that we need to actually, when you click on it, to actually go back to our home page. But in our next video, we're going to as we go on, we're going to understand how we can actually directly call a particular maybe a particular URL, a particular URL pattern. So when you click on it, it will go to maybe a particular link. So to do this, just want to actually do. If we can set it here to set our HTTP response, we can actually just copy this, because this is how normally you set a link and just put it here. Enter, you click on it, you go to that of the home page. This is actually local spot 8,000. But let's just leave it as of now. So the next one to actually look at some of the things, not really more. This is some of the things that are going to you saw earlier, and this is where I try to add some of the those icons, which is these icons right here. This icon, okay, since I'm connected to the internet, they are going to be visible. And another thing you should know about, remember about that of the Bootstrap is that when you are adding that of the CDN, which is the content and delivery network, so you need to actually have internet connection initially. So when everything is done loading up, you don't need to actually have internet. You don't need to be connected to the internet. So it's just for the beautification of the thing. So you need to be actually be connected to the internet, so it will take effect. So the next we want to actually look at, since we have actually added some extra content on it, this is actually to get making use of that of flat icon to get WhatsApp logo. I can see WhatsApp icon like you can see here, which is WhatsApp icon, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, and then that's what we actually did here to actually get the image source. And then there's nothing really much again, and then the test on that, this is actually all these guys div guys, classes are just HTML tags. So I don't think I need to explain all these things. So next what I want to do is actually to go to our middle side of our currently working on, which was this guy. If I refresh it, if I go to that of about, I go to that of the about, load it, nothing is actually showing up really much. I wonder why that is doing so. But where is the problem coming from? Am I getting this? Okay, so let's go by. Let me. I have to get rid of this block and this block tag. So let me just set my heading back, my doc type HTML. Then let me just get rid of this extend because I don't think I'm extending anything. So I think don't really have any problem right now. Let's actually go back, run our page. You can see we get this displayed, this big. You can see this was not actually being resized. It just came out the way we went to that of the server to actually get that of it. So like as I was saying earlier, that you can actually let's want to go to home. Hit enter. Let me actually set your link maybe to here. This feature, because if we were to click on this link that yes sir. So if I were to click on this link earlier, it was not going to go to anywhere. But let's reload this of our about page and let's click on this link. You can see that it went to this particular I say a particular page. Let me go back to about. We can see go back and see we clicked on it. The reason why we click on this local, which is this local host and port 8000 with this full link home, we can actually go back. Go to actually, since we want to go to our home, which is our home page, you can actually which is our this want to directly go to this pattern. I want to run this particular function. Doing it in this way we don't really have any problem. But let's say in a situation, this is actually for a testing purpose, because when we host our site, we won't be getting this. So we still need to actually change it when so you can see that it doesn't even really make sense to do like this, but there's actually a Django template tag that can use to make all these things really simple. So to do this, let's say we want to go back to our home page. So we want to actually run this our home function, want to actually navigate to this URL, which is this home URL. To this, we are going to make use of what is actually called URL. You can say URL Django template tag. To do this, we are going to put our percentage sign inside all of this two quotes on top. So we're going to put our dictionary braces. We're going to put our percentage sign, two of it. So we're going to make use of that of the URL, and then we're going to set the name of the because now most times it's not a must set it, but you can set the name you give to your URL. In our case was this of our home page. So anytime I click on this button that is there, it's going to navigate to this to the URL pattern. It's going to look for any name that has this, because I find it better to make use of the name. And once you find the name, it's going to go to this pattern. It's going to run this window. We're going to go to homes slash home, and we're going to run these views.home. To do this, I say it's basically simple. And we are going to say want to run our what home page. We are want to find our home page matcher. I can say we are want to navigate to that of the home page URL. So let's go back and see whether this actually take effect. Let's go back to our about. and then you can see this, go back, click on it. You can see we can go back, let's click on it back again, can go back. Let's say you want to, from maybe you want to create anyone for home, want to use to go to about, so I can come to this of the home. Let's say I want to put it here. You can see this is want to do for that, to create for this of the about, so we can get this about page on this of the home. Want to navigate from home, home, can say home web page to maybe to about. So what I have to put here, just about page, and here is good to, let's say, can say home about page. Simple as that. This is actually to create a button. Okay, so let's make use of this button that we actually created earlier, which was this. Let's make use of it. I think it's going to be better. I think that basically the same. Okay, so let's make use of this class that is there. Let's style it a little bit. We also add the same thing for that of the about. Let's also add the kind of button. And see, I think with this we can now, from our home.html, we're going to get a button that is going to say about page, and then we're going to go back to this. Let's reload this to actually see that take effect. You can see about page. We can see this about page. I click on it, it's going to go to about, and then go back is going to go back to the home page. I don't know why it's okay, it's got duplicated. And this of the about page, it didn't actually get the styling that I was expected. Let me go back, let me reload that of the about page. This about didn't really get the style that was expected. I wonder why was that was doing so. VTM primary. I wonder why that was it. I think I have to stop my server and then run it again. But we'll get the idea how to navigate from particular link to a particular link. We're going to dive more in depth on this now as we go on. So if you are still confused, you can see as we go on, we're still going to get it. So we can go back to home page, about page, can go back to view the about page. So we learned a lot. So if in case you are still confusing, just go back and watch the video, that maybe just to take a little bit step back to, so you can actually understand it before we move on. So I think the next we are going to do, since we have actually done a whole lot of things, the next thing we want to actually, because this is actually the website that we're interested, the next thing we actually want to do is actually to create all the buttons, because we've actually learned how to create button, we actually learned how to add links to it. We actually learn how to display our text. What was actually remaining for us is actually to this search content, and then we're going to begin with forms, models, and then go to that of the admin side to actually look at some of things that is actually there.